Today we're talking about the Sith Lego art, and I think this piece looks pretty great.
I think it looks absolutely beautiful.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
You will try.
Hello friends, I'm Josh, this is Josh Build Stuff, and today we're talking about more Lego art, more specifically the Sith Lego art from Star Wars. For those unfamiliar, this Lego art theme is relatively new to Lego, but what they do is give you a whole bunch of individual studs along with some instructions on how to turn those studs into some well-known characters. In this case, we can build some Sith characters from Star Wars. This set, like many that have come out in 2020, is recommended for ages 18+, which really all that means is that Lego knows that these sets are targeted towards adults like me and not towards children. Additionally, this set contains 3,406 pieces, though not all of those are used, and it costs $120 here in the US. Now, for those who follow Lego pricing closely and think that about 10 cents per piece is usually a good deal, this set sounds like a steal because it's over 3,400 pieces. However, most of those pieces are just individual studs, in which case this seems like a bad price per piece value. In any case, I think it's actually a pretty good value for what you get in the end. I know not everyone would agree. But price aside, what we can do with this set is build one of three iconic Sith characters from Star Wars. We can build either Darth Vader, Darth Maul, or Kylo Ren. And I don't know why we're still looking at the box for this set, because the other cool feature of these sets is that they can be hung on your wall and act as actual art pieces. So let's pull this guy down and get a closer look at him. This is the second Lego art set that I have bought and built. The first was the Iron Man piece, which I am also quite fond of and I think looks really great. I also made a review video about that set, so check that one out as well. Now, unlike that Iron Man portrait, where I had a little bit of trouble deciding which version of Iron Man I wanted to build and display, I did not have that same trouble when it came to the Sith. Now, I'm not hating on Kylo Ren or Darth Maul. I think they both look great, and the portraits within this set look great for them as well. However, it really wasn't much of a contest. I've got to go with Darth Vader, my boy, the OG.
What?
Right on, man. We're big Darth Vader fans in this house. So let me start off by saying, from an artistic perspective, I think this piece looks awesome. Not everyone wants to hang Lego in their homes, and I totally understand that. But just looking at this piece from a purely objective standpoint of whether or not it looks cool, I think most people can agree this piece looks very cool. Hats off once again to Lego designers for what they have managed to achieve here, because if you think about Darth Vader, what color is his helmet? It's black. Almost all of him is black. And so saying I'm going to make a portrait of Darth Vader using Lego bricks, it would seem to be very difficult to do. And yet, there is not that much black used in this picture. There are so many reds and blues and oranges and just different colors that come together to give you this really iconic looking picture, and yet we know exactly who it is, and it's still menacing looking, and it captures the essence of Darth Vader without, you know, just giving us a 48 by 48 square of black studs. Speaking of that 48 by 48, that's how many studs wide by tall this is, so the entire portrait takes about 2,400 studs to create. That's not including the frame and backing pieces as well. All in all, that gives us a piece that measures about 16 inches tall by wide, or that's, I think, 40 by 40 centimeters. When it comes to the build, one of the main things that I emphasized in the Iron Man video was that it hurt your fingers to build this set, and that still holds pretty true for this set as well, since it's basically the same process. Though because this was my second Lego art set that I was building, I think I was a little more prepared when going into this build. Though somehow I think enough time had passed between these two builds that made me forget just how tedious and painful this build process could be. So fair warning to all out there who are considering this set, this is not like other Lego sets. If you are someone who buys and builds Legos because you really enjoy the build process or the cool playable models that you get in the end, this set may not be for you. I think that price tag alone may be enough to convince some people not to get this set, but even so, this set is sold out on Lego.com and is hard to find in most stores. I had to drive over an hour from my current location just to find this set in a Target. But back to the build. Basically, this set is made up of 9 large new tile pieces on which those individual studs sit, and the instructions are kind of a paint-by-number system that goes tile by tile. In the end, you combine all of those individual tiles together, and that gives you one large art piece, and then you build a frame around that piece so that it could be hung on the wall or displayed on a shelf. You can kind of see it in the build video, but the system that I employed to sort my studs was to get one of these little silicone muffin tins or cupcake tins where I put each individual stud color in their own cup and then numbered each one. That follows along with the numbering on the instructions to make it very easy to find the studs that I needed for the individual steps. This system, for me, worked very well, though it still did take a very long time to assemble this entire set, and it was still a tedious process. Though I've got to say, it really wasn't so bad the second time around. I was definitely not prepared for building this kind of set when I built the Iron Man set, but I knew what I was getting into with this one, and so I think the build went faster and smoother overall. Though for the truly dedicated and wealthy LEGO fans out there, what you can do is buy 3 of this same set and combine them to create one, what I'm going to call a mega portrait. In this case, it is a portrait of Darth Vader that is as wide as one of these sets, but as tall as 3 of them. And so for those wondering, that is about 7,000 individual studs that it would take to make up that entire portrait. Though I think that portrait does look really nice, I'm actually not as impressed with the full-size Darth Vader portrait as the full-size Iron Man one, but that is just my opinion. So I mentioned it was an easy decision to choose to build Darth Vader over the other 2 options in this set, but it's not because I don't think those other 2 options look good. Honestly, the Darth Maul portrait looks super menacing, I think the lighting looks super cool, and I've always loved Darth Maul as a character, just obviously not as much as Darth Vader. Though I do think the mouth or the teeth part looks a little weird. I think that's just a byproduct of the scale that LEGO was working with here. Kylo Ren similarly looks super cool, though I do wish more of his face mask was actually in the portrait. It only takes up like half of the picture right now, but this is the cool version of his helmet that got all destroyed and then repaired so you can see the red cracks running through it. And I really like that his lightsaber blade looks true to how it does in the movies, in that it looks a little unstable, it's not perfectly straight, and the red and I guess crackly bits coming off of the saber extend out a little further than they would on a normal blade. But we did not build either of those versions, we built Darth Vader, and it's not just because that I prefer this character over the other 2, I do think that this portrait is the coolest looking version of our 3 options. I think the pose that Darth Vader is in, if we can call it that, or the profile shot that Darth Vader is shown here, just looks really cool and menacing, shows off a lot of the great shapes and angles of that helmet while still getting a lot of the really cool looking reflection of that lightsaber in his eyes, and we end up with such a cool color scheme because, like I said earlier, he's got an all black helmet, and yet the reflection of that red lightsaber brings through a lot of blues and grays and reds and oranges, which just bounce off the super cool jagged edges of that helmet. And can you tell I'm a fan of Darth Vader? I love that helmet, I love that design, and I think it is really, really well captured in this portrait. I haven't heard this talked about directly, but I was curious as to why these specific pictures were used to create the LEGO art, and I think it's because you actually need to zoom way, way into the subject in order to get a good level of detail with only this scale going. If you think about it, in reality, this is like a really low quality image. It's like it's only 48 by 48 pixels, and if you think about that on a computer screen, that would be really small. And so if we were trying to do something like a full body portrait of Darth Vader here, or a wider shot from any of the Star Wars movies, you would end up with a super pixelated version that, while you may be able to tell what was going on, you probably wouldn't think it looked cool like an art piece like this. I'm also keeping all of this in mind because of a super secret upcoming project that I'm building and will feature on this channel in the very near future, so stick around for that, though I can't reveal any more details. And so my final thoughts on this set and the LEGO art line as a whole, since this set and the Iron Man set are probably the only two I'm going to buy until LEGO releases more, I think they are good. It might sound like there's some hesitation in my voice, and that's just because the build process is not typical to any other LEGO sets, which I personally commend LEGO for doing and trying something new because I think the end result looks really great, but the build itself is a strange combination of torturous and therapeutic, if you know what I mean. To one degree, you can zone out because it's obviously a repetitive process, but to the other, you kind of have to pay a lot of attention because every stud kind of matters to be in its place or it can mess up the end result. And so that build process may be a bit of a trudge for some, but for me, I think knowing that I built this myself and took the multiple hours that it took to do so kind of adds to my like for the final product, because not only does it look great, even though it was designed by somebody else, it was built by me, and I think that adds to my appreciation for this piece itself. I am interested in the future of LEGO art, if LEGO will continue to make more pieces like this, or if they will do some other build-your-own version where they'll release the big tile pieces and the frame pieces and, I don't know, a grab bag of a whole bunch of different studs and give users some ideas of things they can build without, I don't know, giving them such a rigid set of instructions. But again, that may be hinting at a personal project that I am working on. All in all, I am happy to have this set in my collection, but am curious what all of you think about this set and the LEGO art theme in general, so let me know in the comments below. Also, a couple orders of business in this video. For one, there is a good chance that this video is being released on my birthday, so happy birthday to me. That's actually why I got this set when I did. I am considering it a birthday present. Though in all honesty, the birthday was really just an excuse because I was going to get this pretty much no matter what. Second, our subs are growing, so thank you so much for that. And if you are a newer sub, then welcome, and I appreciate your view and hanging out. But along those lines, we are nearing 1,000 subs, and when we get there, I would like to do a 1,000 sub Q&A video that would let you get to know me and, I don't know, that guy a little better. So if you have some things that you would like to know about me, then feel free to ask those questions, throw them in the comments below, or send me a message on Twitter or Instagram, both of which links can be found in the description somewhere on my page. And lastly, there is a very small chance that you may be a new subscriber who came here from my sister-in-law's TikTok, which is Millionaires on there, A-Y-R-E-S. And while I am not personally on TikTok, she recently gave me a shout out there, and so I wanted to give her a shout out here, though she has significantly more followers than me there than I have here. But even so, she makes some very cool things. She is a very talented artist and makes them all by hand in her home, so go give her some support on TikTok or her other platforms. I will put a link to her stuff in the description below as well. So I think that's all of the business I have for today, so if you've stuck around for this long, then thank you so much for doing so, and also thank you for liking, subscribing, and telling your friends. If it's been so long that you've already forgotten, I'm Josh, this is Josh Builds Stuff, and I'll see you next time. I like your new look. It's fall, it's a little cooler outside, it works.
It's a cowl. All the Sith are wearing them.
Oh, looks just like you threw one of my hoodies over your head and called it a cowl.
Nope, common misconception.
Yep, my mistake. I'm gonna need that back though when I go outside.
Fine.